4 kids, and we got 4 kids, and one of them, our 14-year-old, is trans. My wife and I decided a few months ago that we needed to pack up and move to Connecticut. When I heard the times, when I
So, welcome to worship with the community of the First Unitarian Church of Omaha. My name is Dave Richardson, and I will be serving as the worship associate. My pronouns are he, him, and they. The sermon today will be done by our own Mary Kay Peters. She's chair of the worship arts team. Her sermon is titled Perspectives on Gender Transitioning Care. Whether you are attending online or in person, I'm glad you've chosen to join us for worship today. I offer up a special welcome to visitors. This congregation is an inclusive community that listens, engages, inspires, and acts. Our mission is to foster the whole person with compassion and justice. We are on many journeys, but together we are one church. We are a community of all ages and abilities, with a rainbow of gender and sexual identities and diverse cultural and class backgrounds. We draw from many sources of inspiration and share common liberal religious values. Whoever you may be, we welcome you to bring your whole self into the community. If you are joining us online, you're encouraged to access the comment feature for online chatting during the service. We also encourage you to share joys and concerns that will be lifted up in worship. We encourage you to say hello to other online attendees or to share something about how the service is connecting with you. For those here in person, you're invited to share coffee and conversation together in the common room downstairs after the service. Also, if you parked in the parking ramp, we have a parking validator in the foyer for those who park in that garage. We also affirm that our church occupies the traditional treaty lands of the Omaha and Otoe, Missouri tribal nations, whose sovereignty existed long before the state of Nebraska. We express our respect also to the Northern Ponca and Winnebago tribes, the Santee Sioux tribe, and other tribes represented in the Omaha area. We invite everyone to go beyond acknowledgments by educating ourselves and supporting local causes, charities, and rights of indigenous peoples in the area. And now, our prelude, Sweet Woman. Thank you, Judy. This morning, we light the chalice, the symbol of our faith. Our chalice lighter this morning is Carol Ramsey. As the chalice is lit, I invite you all to join in the chalice lighting words, which I believe appear in the order of service. Spark of the Spirit, cupped in earth's embrace, light of love, alive in all creation. As we kindle this flame, we rekindle our connection to the sacred web of life. We are also lighting a sabbatical candle. This is the second week of our minister, Reverend Sherry Woodbury's sabbatical. We trust that this candle will light her way back to us come November. Our call to worship this morning will be presented by Kynas Bryan.
Morning, y'all. In case you're wondering why Mal and I are still here, we're waiting on our visas. So, I'm reading this morning A Protest and a Party by Hannah Roberts Villeneuve. I think that's the pronunciation. Might be Villeneuve. Who knows? This poem was written by Hannah Roberts Villeneuve, who serves as co-minister at Fox Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. She lives in Appleton, Wisconsin with her wife, Catherine, and their 2 kids. People sometimes ask, is pride a protest or a party? And the answer is, of course, yes. And why not? Why not rejoice as we resist, dance as we demand, change, celebrate as we create community that delights in all of who we are? So bring all of that with you this morning. Bring your policy demands, bring your glitter, bring your Supreme Court broken heart. Bring your rainbow socks, bring the emptiness you feel for our siblings gone too soon. Bring your Gloria Estefan remix, bring your tender hope for change, bring your most garish eyeshadow. Bring your spirit, tattered and battered, by a world that seems insistent on choosing fear and hate. Gather up all these things and bring them here to a place where we don't have to shoulder these burdens or celebrate these joys alone. Come, let us worship together.
Our opening hymn is number 1053 in the Teal Hymnal. A few things about the writer of that song. Her name was Libby Roderick. She is an Alaskan singer, songwriter, poet, activist, and teacher. She has been around the world in spaces where people need to honor and be reminded of their wholeness. We will now have a responsive litany be conducted by Vic. Your fan club.
Good morning, everyone. I want to say a special thank you and good morning to my spouse, Mikkel, who's on the way back from Arizona. So we're going to be doing a call and answer. So if you would like to practice, we are going to be saying, after I say something, we are precious and we are powerful. So let's try that now. We are precious and we are powerful. One more time. Come on, give me something. We are precious and we are powerful. We come from fierce freedom fighters, from the survivors and the dead of the HIV crisis, who organized and fought for their lives, from the black kings and queens who ruled the ballroom, who insisted we dance even amidst death and devastation. From these ancestors we learn. We are precious and we are powerful. Awesome. With the tender-hearted butches and the powerful femmes, with the strong twinks and the soft bears, with all the complexities that live within each of us, we know that we are whole just as we are. We are precious and we are powerful. From the Black Dykes, the trans Chicana sisters, and the Baricua boys, and every other sibling who is told that they can't bring their full self to the queer community, from them we learn. We are precious and we are powerful. To the elders who've seen it all, to those with one toe out of the closet, to those who are still in it, and to those who tore down the closet altogether, we say, we are precious and we are powerful. In the face of hatred, in the faces of those who deny our wholeness, we root ourselves in the truth that we know. We are precious and we are powerful. From the dance floor to the Capitol Rotunda, from our kitchen tables to the White House, from jail cells to classrooms to pulpits, whether whispered or shouted, we will and do proclaim. And we are powerful. Thank you.
Thanks, Vic. Each week, half of the loose currency in the offering plate is donated to a local cause. So more people can do more good. Our Share the Plate recipient for July is Omaha for Us, building intentional community and creating equitable space. That's in service to LGBTQ plus individuals and families in the local area. Our offertory music is What More Can I Say by Finn, will be sung by Todd Brooks. Todd is a stalwart of the community in acting, directing, and he's had a long career. When I say long, he said his debut was at the age of 4 with in a church, by the way. So, Todd. We now enter the part of our service devoted to care and centering. Let us share our joys and concerns. If there are any in the book back there, Colin, do you have some? Excellent. Colin will present these.
From Gene Wagner, saying thank you to all who marched in the Pride Parade yesterday. Next year we're going bigger. More bubbles, more hugs, and maybe a float. Also from Gene, thanks to all who contributed to our successful KIOS campaign. You are connecting us with our community. From Dewey Unger, saying a concern for our immigrant friends and neighbors that they are safe and have strength during these difficult times in our country. And last but not least, from Elaine Wells, we have, she says, I just got back from the Midwest Unitarian Universalist Summer Assembly. This is my 36th year because it is always such a wonderful experience. I want you to come next July to our new MUUSA home in Ripon, Wisconsin. I'd love to tell you all about it. That's it.
Thank you, Colin. I am now going to turn it over to Mary Kay Peters.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, so if everyone just wants to stay seated, take a deep breath, I'm just going to start with like a 2-minute sound clip of a contemplation. And these are just different voices that wanted to be heard on different perspectives for trans care. So Jake's gonna just help me get the audio going here.
We got 4 kids, and one of them, our 14-year-old, is trans. My wife and I decided a few months ago that we needed to pack up and move to Connecticut. When I heard the times, when I heard your invitation, I was in the middle of packing. You know, how has this pack up and move to Connecticut? When I heard the times, when I heard your invitation, I was in the middle of packing. You know, how has this impacted us? Well, you know, beyond needing to move, we lost our gender affirming care for a bit, and then just the lack of confidence that she would be able to continue to get the care she needs and deserves, and further executive orders that targeting teachers, administrators, who use pronouns for kids, not the ones that they identify by. All this has made this not a safe place. It was already not a safe place, but now we actually feel like asylum seekers in our own country.
Families are talking about how to get affirmative hormones underground if needed.
I've been dealing with an excellent endocrinologist. She has been giving us all sorts of insights into stockpiling testosterone. My child is afraid to pursue any hormonal therapy. He wants a deeper voice and a more masculine body, but he thinks it will be worse to experience that and then lose it.
I worry that not only will gender clinics stop providing gender affirming care for minors soon, I also worry that my husband and I could be criminalized for allowing our son to receive care. Every parent of a trans kid who I know is either exploring options for emigration or is actively emigrating.
So those were just a few perspectives. I kind of focused on the ones that were the parents talking about what they've gone through with their children for youth, gender affirming care. And this was from a podcast, so all the interviews were anonymous because there's a lot of hate in this media and in the forum from a lot of strong emotions from both sides and all sides. So anyhow, just gonna start by focusing on pediatric, adolescent, but we're also gonna talk about adult gender transitioning care. And I just want everyone to know right up front that I'm gonna try to do the best I can not to offend any particular person in this discussion, but language is very much a part of the politics of transgender medicine. And in my own personal search for truth and understanding and meeting as a healthcare worker on this issue, I think that a good place to start is with the very first adult gender identity clinic that opened in America, and that was in 1966 at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, and it was actually shut down in 1979 just because of so much backlash and controversy. And this is basically a good example of what can happen when politics and medicine are so intertwined for a subject that evokes such strong emotions, even for people who have no direct experience with this issue. Almost all university gender identity clinics closed their doors by 1980, because there were a few others that had opened during that time. But around 1980, the US Department of Health and Human Services classified gender-affirming care as experimental officially. It was the early days for this care. But by classifying it as experimental, it was excluded from Medicare and Medicaid programs, and that then in turn discourages private insurers from covering such treatments for people. So as far as the language goes, gender dysphoria is the term that is used now, and it's defined as distress over gender identity that doesn't match a person's assigned sex at birth. And it's been considered a mental health condition in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders for the American Psychiatric Association since 1980. Gender incongruence, on the other hand, remember it's all terminology here, is no longer seen as a pathological or a mental disorder in the World Health community. Guidelines call for thorough psychological assessments to confirm gender dysphoria before starting any kind of gender-affirming treatment options. And these early protocols started in Amsterdam. It's called the Dutch protocol, and it developed in the early 2000s. Gender health care, especially for youth, has become a much more visible issue recently because reports from doctors and individual US clinics indicate that the number of youth seeking any kind of transgender medical care has increased in recent years. That's possible that it might be from the increase in availability, but in the last 5 to 10 years specifically, starting around 2015, there's been an exponential growth in adolescent referral rates to these clinics, with an explosion specifically in young women who, at around the age of 12 or 13, want to become boys. One psychiatrist stated, and I'm not going to use names, I'll just say that right now, often these girls are children who are going through normal identity and developmental problems of adolescence and finding a solution for themselves in this way. To me, I just see that as an example of how our society and our culture treats young women and females. Anyways, this has led to a fear in this country that because of a shortage of mental health specialists, gender-questioning pediatric and adolescent patients may not receive adequate counseling. The treatment for adolescents after assessment typically begins with the suppression of puberty and puberty-blocking medications that temporarily pause sexual development. The idea is to give youngsters time to mature enough mentally and emotionally to make informed decisions about whether to pursue permanent treatment. Puberty blockers may be used for years, but they can increase the risks for bone density loss. So that's basically been proven clinically. But as far as effects on the brain for developing adolescents, that's kind of a gray area. There's really just not a lot of data on that. But the effects of puberty blockers can be reversed when the drugs are stopped, and that's effects of sexual development and bone density. Sex hormones, estrogen or testosterone, are offered next. Most gender-questioning youth on puberty blockers eventually choose to use hormones, which can produce permanent physical changes. And the final step is transgender surgery, which sometimes is offered during the mid-teen years, but more typically not until age 18 or later. Some studies suggest that rates of regret have declined over the years as patient selection and treatment methods have improved. In a review, and this is like a Cochrane overview review of 27 studies involving almost 8,000 teens and adults who had transgender surgeries, mostly in Europe, the US, and Canada, 1% on average express regret. Research suggests that comprehensive psychological counseling before starting treatment, along with family support for youth, can reduce chances for regret and detransitioning. That's the term now that is used for people who decide they've made a mistake and want to go back to their original birth gender. So, as a result of fear, loss of faith in our healthcare system, and the intermingling of medicine and politics. There's now 27 states that have passed laws prohibiting the use of puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries as treatments for gender dysphoria in minors. And on June 18th, 2025, so wasn't that long ago, just a month ago, the Supreme Court ruled in U.S. versus Skermetti that these laws do not violate the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution in a 6-3 split. The 6 conservative justices agreed that the ban was based on age and medical reason for treatment, not on sex discrimination. In other words, a child could receive puberty blockers and hormone therapy if the medications were provided to help them conform to their sex assigned at birth. And it's kind of a niche, very low demand, but it is used. They are used in the medical field for certain things, treatment. But they're not allowed to be used for gender dysphoria. And that is for these 27 states. And these 27 states basically follow red-blue political lines on a map. As you might imagine, it's the Midwest and the South, with the exceptions of Colorado and New Mexico, and the whole West Coast, and then the north of the East Coast. Those are sanctuary states. Some of them have protection laws. Some of them just allow people to do what they see fit. I mean, in a lot of ways, America's healthcare system gives states significant authority over medical regulation, and I can see a little bit of a tie-in with state laws that are pertaining to reproductive rights. So, as for transgender medical care for adults, the Trump administration's policies are to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. The U.S. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, and all of you healthcare workers out there know what I'm talking about because these are the people that set the Medicare and Medicaid laws. And they just on June 20th, so this is very recent also, they passed a revision of the Affordable Care Act, so that's the Obamacare, that limits or prohibits insurers from covering medical or pharmaceutical interventions used in gender-affirming care as an essential health benefit. So an essential health benefit is a special category, means that insurers are required to cover this care. So they've stripped gender care of that benefit. And so basically, that can lead to getting rid of specific accessibility and affordability protections by insurance. The rule will be going into effect with insurance plans starting in 2026. And this provision will reduce access to trans-specific health care and make that care more expensive for patients on private health insurance. And last but not least, in Iowa, which is where I live, we became the first state to remove gender identity as a protected class from the state's Civil Rights Code last Tuesday, about a week ago. And it's the first rollback action of its kind in the United States. Governor Kim Reynolds says that it safeguards the rights of women and girls. I'm still considering that. Not sure that I agree with that. I'm actually struggling with that statement personally. I look at the cycles and how we are going back to where we were in the 1980s. And are we about to see clinics closing their doors again? I guess that's my question. And as Unitarian Universalists and as a welcoming congregation, we embrace transgender, non-binary, intersex, and gender diverse people. And we acknowledge that denying health care to the T in the LGBTQ plus community is a moral violation. We send our love and care to all the trans youth and their families who are directly affected by the recent Supreme Court ruling, and the trans adults who will find their access to health care limited. And we will keep supporting each other and fighting together for visibility and the rights to health care. And so today, because this was kind of a sad summary of what's been happening, I just want to finish with a glitter blessing that will remind us all that, as we said earlier, we are precious and we are powerful. And I think it's really important that we stick together to support each other. So this glitter blessing is a recognition of the sacred beauty inherent in every person. Glitter has long been a symbol for the LGBTQ plus movement of gritty, sparkly hope in the face of prejudice and oppression, of joy and pride in the face of hatred and bigotry. Glitter is resilient and tenacious. I'm using actually a packed glitter so that I don't get it all over the carpet. The briefest beam of sunlight causes it to shine out, even in the dustiest and dreariest of spaces, and its beauty comes from its brokenness. Glitter sparkles because it is many different broken pieces, coming together, changing in every moment as the light changes. This glitter that we share with each other today is a reminder that each of us is beautiful in our sacred imperfection, our ever-changing selves, and our glorious plurality. So Judy's gonna play a little bit of music for us, and I'm gonna invite all of you to come forward. Show me like where on your forehead or your wrists or wherever you would like me to smudge a little bit of glitter on you for the glitter blessing. And then just circle back to your seats. If you can't come forward, you can raise your hand and I will come to you. Okay. So I just invite everyone to pause for a moment as we come to the close of this ritual. Look around at all the beautiful shining faces that surround you, at the amazing thing that is our blessed bodies gathered in this sacred space together. And everybody in this space and beyond it is a holy thing. Every person a sacred being made of stardust. And just remember how extra glittery and sparkly and fabulous you all are. And our closing hymn is once again 1053 in the teal hymnal, How Could Anyone? And we'll sing it through twice. As we go forth, I offer you all this final blessing. May you receive and reflect love everywhere you go, and know in your deepest heart and in every day you matter and you belong. May you hold on to hope and your inner sparkle even when discouragement and despair beckon. May the beauty that is you shine out bright as the stars, from which we came and to which we will return. Together, may we make this a place of welcome and healing, of connection and plurality. Together, may we practice compassion and courage, seeing and celebrating and supporting each other. Together, may we be the sparkling force of love that our world needs. Blessed by this community and by the source, go forth and celebrate with pride, and remember that you are not alone.
He wasn't much to look at. I wouldn't call him fun. He was 12 years old and I was just 11. My friends thought I was crazy, but my innocence was won by the boy who introduced my heart to heaven. He was the smartest boy in the whole 6th grade, and I couldn't believe I found him. Though his teeth were braces and his daughters were bright, I just wanted to be around him. There are men when you lose yourself or feel you will regret, but Dad was my final love because he played the clarinet. I want to know more than to share a stand with this prodigy of perfection. I took the after school practice in the junior high band where we'd sit in the wood
The service is over. And you could go down and have coffee if you would like.